how you define the word humility and how important that word is to you. So, for example, growing up in a faith background, the word humility to me meant you just think of yourself as less than you are, right? You never want to assume you're better than you are. And I think there's some value in that definition, but I think it's insufficient. As I've talked to a lot of people on the podcast and just kind of thought through my own thoughts on the thing, like you recognize that in sales and in business, confidence is actually a very vital function of making sales and running a business. Obviously, false confidence can lead to all kinds of problems, but confidence in itself is a very important value and a very important skill, I guess you could say. And so it's like, how do you think through needing confidence and humility, right? And so what I've done is I've defined humility this way for myself. Humility isn't how I put myself high or low. Humility is the constant ability to recognize that I have more to learn and that I can learn from anybody. Not that you shouldn't have vetting criteria of who and how you learn from, but that I can learn from anybody. So I approach humility from the standpoint that there is always more to learn and everybody has something to teach. And I don't put myself on as much of a hierarchy anymore, right? Like, oh, I'm better than this person or that. It's just kind of removing that as a thought altogether and focusing on becoming a better version of myself even later today than I am today or tomorrow. So I would say the way that people view humility, I think can set them for the foundation for the proper action and learning, because I think our ego does so much to get in the way of doing the things that we need to do.
Oh man, that's so good. So good. I was thinking while you were talking about becoming a better version, like, as you were describing, like, I wonder, like, this humility thing is I have room to grow. And then there towards the end, you said those exact words. You were like, becoming a better version even later in the day than I started the day. That's incredible. That is a really, really powerful tool. Now, of course, it begs the question, what is that version, right? Like, what is the version you're chasing? And I think that definition can change a little bit, but I always love this conversation of starting with some end in mind, not necessarily the end all be all, but okay, who's the version of myself that I want to be? And sometimes the definition is quite easy, actually. More present with my children, a better listener to my wife, right? Like just having a kind, open heart to people just in general, right? Like those things can be very easy to define, but hard to implement. So if you take the time to like be humble about it, say, I can learn, I can grow, I can learn from my children, right? Anyone. So it's very, very powerful what you just said. Like, that's so cool, man. That was really incredible. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And I think you're a tremendous example of this, right? I mean, we're kind of two opposite sides of the spectrum as far as like, you like step-by-step gradual improvement. I like, we're the tortoise and the hare type of thing. You do incremental improvement better than almost anybody I've ever met. So like you're a living example of that.